Hello and welcome. My name is Jonathan Edwards and I'm the Internal Auditor for Volusia County. Because Internal Audit is a newer department, I'm often asked several questions on what exactly is internal auditing, what exactly do you do, how are you really independent, and how are your audits conducted? I'm glad to help answer some of these questions that I'm often asked from the public. So let's get started. The first question I'd like to answer is why? Why do I love my job and feel very fortunate to be working for Volusia County? And the answer really is found in our mission statement. What motivates me is maintaining citizens' trust and confidence that the county is using its resources effectively, efficiently, and honestly. The goal of internal audit is to add value, improve operations and transparency, and provide key information to council and management. Organizations, like the county, need a system in place to help achieve these goals, and that system is comprised of internal controls. Internal controls are really just a combination of people, policies, and procedures that managers rely upon to provide assurances that these goals are being met. Let's start at the beginning. The department was established by County Council in 2018 with Ordinance 2018-21. I was confirmed by Council in 2019 to start the department and get the ball rolling.
Hearing no objection to the motion, we will confirm the appointment of Jonathan Edwards as our internal auditor. Congratulations.
Thank you.
The ordinance lays out direction for the department. It empowers me to perform audits in accordance with professional standards for internal auditing. It gives me the authority to conduct audits of all departments, offices, boards, agencies, contracts, grants, and any other operation or program under the direction or responsibility of County Council. This also includes function for which the Council provides financial support. In fiscal year 2022, Council approved a staff auditor position to assist me with the audits. The ordinance allows for different types of audits, including operational, compliance, and forensic type audits. So what does that mean? Operational audits assist management and council with recommendations on improving county programs, finding ways to reduce costs, and contributing to public accountability. Compliance audits provide council and management with analysis and recommendations to ensure that the county is complying with laws, regulations, and guidelines on a particular program. Forensic audits is where fraud, waste, or abuse is alleged, and this may require a deep dive into a particular area to determine if something illegal may have occurred. I am often asked, how is the internal auditor independent from management, especially since the org chart has you reporting to the county manager? How do I know that the manager is not influencing your audit work? Besides the ordinance that sets requirements, there are other items in place for the county council to monitor my department. Those are the audit guidelines, the annual budget, the annual audit plan, and how the audit reports are delivered to the county council and the county manager. Let me explain further. Internal auditing standards require that I maintain a guiding document that defines the purpose, authority, and responsibility of my role. In May of 2020, Council approved the internal audit guidelines, which further expands upon the ordinance and defines the role, independence, authority, responsibilities, and reporting. Every year, I meet with the council members on a one-on-one basis to discuss the department. One of the areas we discuss is the audit guidelines to determine if council would like anything changed or updated to the guidelines. Internal auditors must be free from conflicts of interest and free from interference in how work is conducted and reported. This means that I will be free of interference, including matters of audit selection, scope, procedures, frequency, timing, and scope of the audit reports. I have no direct operational responsibility or authority over any of the other departments at the county. I cannot direct activities of any county employees of other departments. I report functionally to the council and administratively to the county manager, for example, in the day-to-day operations. The county manager nor the council direct me in any audit procedures or scope of the audits. Each year, I prepare a budget which council ultimately approves. This includes money for staffing, travel, training, and office supplies. I also provide council every year with a risk-based audit plan. This plan is developed based on priorities using a risk-based methodology. I meet with each council member on a one-on-one basis to gather their thoughts and input on areas that they would like to see audited. I also meet with the county manager and department directors to solicit their input and thoughts. And I also consider my own knowledge and experience in the public sector about areas that might be considered for audit. To make the audit plan objective and risk-based, each area is scored in 10 separate categories, a score of 5 being high risk and a score of 1 being low risk. I then total all of the scores. After this scoring, I then present it formally to the council, who discuss it in a public meeting and ultimately approve the audit plan for the year. When audits are completed, the report is released at the same time to council and the county manager. This ensures that the county manager or staff do not have any undue influence over my audit report or audit recommendations. As soon as the reports are emailed directly to council and the manager, the printed copies are delivered to them. The same day, the reports are posted to the county's website and available for the public. All completed reports are available on the county's website. As you just heard, internal audit has direct and unrestricted access to council and the county manager. Professional auditing standards also require 4 elements to maintain independence. Objectivity is an unbiased mental attitude that allows auditors to perform audits that they believe in their work product and that no quality compromises have been made. Threats to independence and objectivity is managed at 3 levels: at the individual auditor level, at the area under audit, and at the organizational level. To demonstrate conformance with individual objectivity and conflict of interest, audit staff sign annual statements indicating there were no potential threats. Additionally, for each audit, at the beginning and again at the end of the audit, staff document if there were any known independence issues. Performing audits with proficiency and due professional care is the responsibility of every internal auditor. Proficiency is developed via education, experience, professional development opportunities, and qualifications such as certifications. Due professional care requires a systematic and disciplined approach to internal auditing. To demonstrate conformance with due professional care, audit staff follow work paper templates that have been approved by me. Staff work papers are completely reviewed and documented by me as well. To demonstrate conformance with proficiency, every year staff attend at least 40 hours of continuing professional education hosted by professional organizations. If at any time there was any non-conformance with objectivity, due professional care, or independence, I would inform the county manager and the county council. Another question I'm often asked is, what are the values and ethics of the audit department? It's a great question and an area I take very seriously. It is so important that each year my staff and I commit to uphold these values at all times. Our work is performed to benefit the public and improve the way the county operates. We continuously build trust by ensuring we act with integrity and honesty. We maintain objectivity in performing our services. We strive to make efficient use of our time, and we value fresh ideas and teamwork among employees and the community we serve. We are committed to the highest level of competence and professional conduct. We expect honest and respectful interactions with each other and the public. We handle resources provided, access to information, and the position in a professional manner, and when appropriate, we protect the confidentiality of restricted information that our roles may allow us access to. We make ourselves accessible and communicate openly and frequently. We strive for friendly, non-threatening, fair, and objective conversations. Our reports focus on significant, timely, and useful information for our constituents. We strive to make reports accurate, clear, convincing, objective, fair, and constructive. We improve our knowledge, skills, and abilities through training, work experiences, and related outside activities. We are committed to a high code of ethics. Each year, we attest that we uphold these principles. Additionally, we attend at least 2 hours of ethic trainings each year. In all of our interactions, we act with competency, integrity, objectivity, and maintain confidentiality so we can produce results for our community. We strive to treat people fairly, embrace diversity, and foster inclusiveness to promote the community we serve. We must be reliable and consistent so we can do the right thing even when faced with challenging situations. So what are internal controls exactly, and who are the players? The basic objectives of internal controls are to ensure that operations operate efficiently and effectively, that assets the county owns are safeguarded and secured, that information provided to management, council, and the public is based on reliable data, and that operations are complying with all the relevant regulations, laws, and policies. Management is primarily responsible that these objectives are being achieved, but the council is ultimately responsible for ensuring management fulfills these goals. Think about it this way. Think about the relationship between a student, their parents, and the teacher. It's the student's responsibility to complete homework assignments, but it's the parent's responsibility to make sure that they do. This is a similar relationship between management and council. A few times a year, the teacher gives a report to the parents on how the student is performing. This is similar to the auditor giving council reports on how effectively internal controls are working. The teacher's performance is also a matter of concern for the parents, or in this case, how the auditor is performing is of concern to council. Council must satisfy itself with the quality of work of the auditors. You know, managers are busy running the day-to-day operations of the county, and they may lack the time and expertise on internal controls. As the internal auditor, I can help bridge this time and expertise gap. The external auditor also relies on these internal controls to support their opinions on the quality of financial and other reports that the public relies on. There are 5 elements or pillars of internal controls known as the internal control framework. The first pillar is control environment. The county has an obligation to demonstrate it has been a wise steward of funds. The policies and procedures documented in handbooks outline how departments can be sure they've been wise steward of taxpayer monies. It's the commitment to integrity and ethical values by council and management, and this is known as the tone at the top. It's the assignment of authority and responsibility, and this is management establishing clear structures and lines of reporting. It's employing competent staff. The county must be committed to attracting, developing, and retaining competent staff and be prepared for orderly succession planning. And it's accountability. County management must hold individuals accountable for their performance without placing excessive pressure on them. The second pillar is risk assessment. This may include changes in operating environment. For example, intense media scrutiny or political debate surrounding a program that could place extra pressure on staff to cut corners to achieve results. Or it could be changes in the local economy. It could also be changes in personnel. For example, new employees need some time before becoming proficient in their new position. The third pillar is control activities. These are the controls that management has put in place to combat the risks that were identified. A common example is separation of duties. That means that no single employee should be able to authorize a transaction, record a transaction, maintain custody of the asset, or reconcile transactions related to it. The fourth pillar is called information and communication. The systems being used must be able to collect relevant data and transform that data into a usable form. It should ensure that reports generated from the data are comprehensive, accurate, timely, and relevant. It also means that information needs to be communicated to the proper channels with open lines of communication between citizens, internal staff, and council. The final pillar is monitoring. This is management following through with prompt and appropriate corrective action. It includes management review and periodic reconciliations. We all use internal controls even in our personal lives, whether we think about it or not. Consider where you live. There is a risk that it may be destroyed by a fire. You or your renter's or homeowner's insurance have a policy that you install working smoke detectors. You install a smoke detector to alert you when smoke is present. You ensure that it makes a loud and annoying sound to wake you up at night. But the purpose of a smoke detector is not to extinguish the fire, but rather alert those who can. Smoke detectors have to be checked frequently to ensure that the battery is properly charged, just like internal controls. And that's the monitoring pillar. You have to periodically check the batteries to ensure that it is working properly. So how are audits conducted? After council approves the audit plan, I research the area, review applicable laws, policies, and procedures. Then I meet with department staff that oversee the area being audited. We use audit work papers to document the audit scope, objectives, controls, risks, observations, conclusions, and recommendations. To follow professional auditing standards, audit evidence must be appropriate and sufficient to meet the objectives of the audit. This can be accomplished through physical inspections, observations, reviewing documents, interviewing staff, performing analytical reviews, or performing surveys. With every audit, there is a risk that the auditor's findings may be improper or incomplete. This is defined as audit risk and is composed of 4 separate categories as you see here. Audit risk can be reduced by increasing the scope of work, adding specialists, changing methodology to obtain additional evidence, or other alternative forms to corroborate the evidence. Each area under audit is separately rated for each of these risk factors as high, medium, or low. I then determine if the audit work done alleviates this risk or if more work should be performed. So how are reports developed? When we find an issue during an audit, we document certain information. Auditing standards require that each identified issue have 5 elements. In our work papers, we have to document what is happening, what should be happening, why did this happen, what happens if it is not corrected, and what should be done to correct the issue. Before an audit result is included in the report, all 5 of these elements must be documented and answered. From there, the audit results are sorted and combined into the final report. The purpose of an audit report is to persuade the readers to take action. To be effective, audit reports should be significant and useful, be issued promptly, be free of errors, tell the complete story in a concise manner, be clear and simple, persuade the reader why corrective action is needed, and finally, be objective and balanced. So what happens once a report is issued, and how are your recommendations implemented? As I mentioned earlier, completed audit reports are simultaneously issued to council and the county manager. Soon after, the report is posted to the county's website. I then give a presentation to council at an upcoming council meeting. Management is responsible for implementing the recommendations. Some recommendations management can implement during the audit, while others may take time to fully implement. Towards the end of each year, I go back and follow up with management on the progress of taking corrective actions. I then issue a follow-up report which is posted to the website as well. And finally, how can council, the manager, and the public be assured that my audits complied with auditing standards, the ordinance, and guidelines approved by council? My plan is that every 5 years I will be audited by other internal auditors that also serve in local governments. They will be looking at items such as my independence from management, that I follow professional auditing standards, and that my audit reports are supported by sound audit work papers. The results of these peer reviews will be shared with council, management, and be posted on the website for the public. Since we are still a new department, this review cannot be done until more audits have been completed. I am projecting that this can be done sometime in 2024. I am confident that I meet all of the professional standards, audit guidelines, and that I fulfill my duties of the county ordinance. Thank you for your attentiveness and interest in internal auditing. I sincerely hope I have helped answer some of your questions. I enjoy public service and helping our county be the best it can be. If you have any further questions, our information is here and on our website.